Hello, everyone. I'm here with another interview pre-Dallas, where I'm catching up with all the teams. I'm joined by Junkbuck today, coach from the Falcons, and I want to start by Junkbuck. You've been in North America for a while now. How's the setup been over there? How have you found your sort of boot camp before the event?
The boot camp we're in it's really good. The place is actually one of the best places I've ever been to, so very satisfied with how the practice and the environment and all that stuff is going.
Falcons looking after you then.
Yeah.
Have you enjoyed much local food? You've been hitting the Texas barbecue.
The Texas Rocket, we went there once, just among staff though. So
No players.
yeah, not with players. We just get delivery food all the time, so nothing too
So
crazy. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you as well, because obviously a lot of teams and a lot of players have had like a quite a big transition from Overwatch League to this.
Yeah.
Have you and the Falcons, has your life really changed that much since Overwatch League, or is it quite similar?
I guess I would say just because even within the league, like the experiences between the teams were like varied a lot. So I would say, but for me personally, I would say it's very similar to how I feel when I was in the league and WCS right now. Yeah, I would say it's similar for me personally.
And then I wanted to ask, because you've coached a lot of great rosters, a lot of talented players. Is this Falcons team the best roster you've ever coached, or how does it stack up?
My new was that the current team is always my best team. Oh, that's how I would go with.
That's a safe answer, a good answer. So then I wanted to ask as well about you're obviously working with Krusty again.
Yeah.
But before then, you went and you were head coach at Houston for a while. Now you
Uh-huh.
were back together. Is it different now than how it was back in Shock, or is it just the same as it always was?
Well, I would say there has to be a change in a sense. Like we all grew, the environment changes. So I would say it can't always be the same. But I would say it definitely changed. It definitely changed. But to me, change is inevitable. We can't just stay in our glorious days. Just do the things the same way as it always has been. I would say because we're working with people at the end of the day, and we're working with new group of people each year with new roster. So we always have to adapt. We always have to change how we do things. So I would say uh, the how we do things will change no matter what each year. I would say.
I mean, I wanted to ask because obviously you've got a very star-studded roster, but you also have a lot of players who have a sort of reputation for being quite vocal in terms of in-game leader, like players like Proper, players like Chio. Was it difficult when you the team first got together to get everyone on the same page or thinking the same ideas?
Yeah, definitely there will be a difficulties try to sync up everybody's head together since everyone is also from different teams. They have like a different ideas on how the game should be played. So to me, that's like one thing that we're still working on. I would say, but I would say, but this issue is like is there in every team, every other team as well. So it is every team's homework, or yeah, the problem they every team has to solve. Um, Also, with each player, because whenever they are in a new environment, how they were also changes a lot. So if even if they were like vocal or whatever in a one team, doesn't mean they're gonna be that way in another team as well. So it's always gonna be like adjustment with each other.
Then how does that look in the current team now you've had quite a few months together? Is there one person who is sort of the main caller or like in-game leader, or is it a few different people?
Uh, I would say we work on making all the guys be more vocal. I would say that is one of the things we are working on to try to make everybody, uh, anyone can step up and be that guy.
And then I wanted to ask about Majed as well, because obviously
Mhm,
you and Krusty have both worked on a lot of mixed teams before, but Majid's
mhm.
situation is very much the only non-Korean player on the roster. Has it been hard working him in terms of potential language barriers or culture problems as well?
So, so language barrier was one of the things I was worried about as well. But I think um we the Majed actually is very underrated player. I would say the community might say it's like he's chilling or whatever, but it's like I would consider him as one of the best flex supports. So um I and him playing in our roster, I would say it's like what would be a good word? I think there's no issue. There's no issue with him even if whenever he plays within our roster. So I think I think people can expect more of him. I would say.
And you guys have had a bit of a break since your OWCS, since the Asia LAN. And the meta's kind of moved on a little bit. So we've not seen really the Korean teams play all that much at all. But we've seen a lot of in Face It, in EMEA, and in North America, teams are playing more Malga, more Venture, a lot more Farah. Do you feel right now in the meta and there's like one comp and that's the best comp, or is it kind of wide open for any choice?
Mm, so I wouldn't say there is like the best meta best comp. I would say I think like as long as you're good at it, like one comp can beat another comp. So yeah, I wouldn't say there is a dominant comp. It's just whatever people wants to play, they're gonna be playing that.
Since you've come over as well, you've obviously had a chance to scrim a lot of European American teams as well. How have you found the power level playing against these teams? Do they close to you and Crazy Raccoons and the other top Korean teams, or
I would say I do think the us and Crazy Raccoon is so stronger than the other teams. I would say. Um, NA and EU. I think they're still good too. I would say they're still good too, but I think the top teams in Asia are still stronger.
and if I had to get you to say which was tougher to play against so far, Europe or America?
Oh, EU versus NA. Let's go.
Yeah.
Um, well, it's hard to really like gauge the EU level because we have to play on ping, so
Mm.
it's never accurate. And then also because we'll be playing against them mostly in the tournament, we scrim them very early in the scrim phase, like 3 weeks ago. So it's like a very early stage. So it's just it'll be a lot of like yeah, it'll be hard to gauge when people are just trying out stuff and ping is bad and whatever. Yeah. But just on my guess, I would say in general to give you the answer you want, I would say
Yeah.
EU might be above NA.
Yeah, well, I'd agree, but I also might be a little bias, a little bias.
Yeah.
And then one thing we saw in the Asia LAN as well was the new map pick system, where the loser
Yeah.
gets to pick the mode and the map. Do you think this is a better system than the old system?
Yeah. I think it's good choosing the modes. I think it like gives a better chance to the team that lost the previous map. So they get to pick a more what was it um map. So if yeah, so whatever they're more comfortable with. I think it makes the matches more competitive. I would say.
And do you think it's a good system for Falcons? Do you think it's like a buff for your team, or do you think it hurts your team?
I think uh that part. I guess since everyone can do that too. I guess it's just very neutral. Anyone can take advantage of it. I would say.
Some people are saying that is maybe an advantage for some of the Korean teams because generally they're a bit more flexible. Would you
I see. I
say
see.
would you see that's like? Would you agree in terms of? Do you think you and Falcons, or sorry, you and Crazy Raccoon are more flexible than some of the other or like the Western teams?
Yeah, in that aspect, because our roster was built to be more flexible, we would have the advantage. Yeah.
And then your first game is. Oh wait, sorry. I wanted to ask actually because also there's going to be predetermined maps for map one. So there's an element of sort of luck, maybe in terms of what you get each map. How do you feel about having that predetermined map as your starting map?
Just let OWCS do whatever they want. I stopped complaining. I did complain about the one thing about like the OPR and stuff, but other than that, as long as we can practice and whatever rules that they have, we'll just play under it. I don't complain anymore about how the format is.
Just take what you can get now.
Yeah.
And then your first game is obviously against ENCE. The word on the street, the rumor is those early scrims, ENCE did quite well. So how do you feel? How do you feel going up against ENCE now in this first game?
We feel very, very confident. We feel very, very confident. I think because it was a 3 week. We prepared it to that so that we will be good on the match day. But then I think we started hitting that schedule earlier than expected. So I think we were able to see and test and and yeah, see a lot of value already. So we feel very prepared and confident going in against ENCE.
And has your preparation looked much different in this sort of final lead up to Dallas? Have you been doing anything slightly differently, or have you been doing more practice, more scrims, anything like that?
In terms of like a scrim number, I would say we would try to be the number of scrims and schedule itself, I would say, is similar, but then outside of scrim, us like just talking, the review, those kind of stuff, I would say we will always try to change how we do stuff. It's like we'll always see if there's like a better method to how we do stuff. So that aspect, it always changes. That aspect, it'll always change. We'll always try to improve.
And in the final you played against Crazy Raccoons, it felt like they tried to surprise you with a few comps, maybe throw in some ball, throw in some stuff like this. And it maybe feels like a lot of teams are starting to do more of this. We see M80 doing a lot of Farah. Are you expecting a lot of teams to maybe try some of these like niche comps or surprise comps?
Yeah.
Or have you been preparing more for that as well?
Yeah, for sure. I do think all the teams are gonna like try to throw in those kind of stuff. So I think as long as we don't collapse, then I think we'll be fine. As long as we don't collapse, I think a lot of the issues in the Asia playoff two was our team collapse. It was our team collapse. So I think as long as we keep it together, I think even if other teams throw like a curveball at us, we'll be okay.
But I wanted to ask in particular about Smurf and Hanbin, because it feels like obviously you have a very talented roster, but out of all the players on the roster, it feels like maybe Smurf and Hanbin have felt like they've underperformed compared to their previous level we saw in Overwatch League. Do you think that's true? And if so, why?
Underperformed. Huh. I didn't think of it in that sense. I would always go into the match, always see my players. They're the best player in the world. So that aspect just never crosses my mind. If it seemed like they've been underperforming, then I guess it is our fault. So we would have to do a better job of making them feel better or play better. Yeah.
And then I want to maybe fast forward a bit. Let's say everything goes as planned. You beat ENCE in your game. And then SSG probably beat Students of the game, unless maybe a very big upset, which means you get to play, you would beat one European team and you get to take on the next European team. Now, when I spoke to Psycho from SSG, He
Uh,
was very confident he would beat Falcons. They were said no
uh,
problem beating Falcons. Do you feel that? Do you agree, or do you think maybe
oh,
different result?
I like his confidence. I like his confidence. You know, everyone should be like that. Well, we also feel very confident, so then it'll be a good match. They feel confident, we feel confident. It'll be good.
And then the last thing I wanted to get your opinion on is sometimes I think in the West, we get to know a lot about the Korean players in terms of their in game play, how good they are at the heroes, and everything like this. But we don't always get to know a little bit of their personality or behind the scenes. So I was wondering if
Uh-huh.
I give you some categories, you can maybe tell me which player or maybe coach on the team fits this
Okay,
category.
okay.
Okay?
All right.
So on the team, who is the best dressed, most
Best
fashionable?
dressed, most fashionable, most fashionable. Let's see, which players do we have on our team? Stalker, Smurf, Winfield. Okay, I would say, okay, the person who spends the most money will be Krusty. Most fashionable, I'm not sure. Maybe Stalker.
Okay.
Yeah,
And what about the opposite then, the worst dressed? Who
the
comes in
worst
and you're
dressed.
like, what are they wearing? Why have they put
Who
this
doesn't
on?
who doesn't care about what they wear? Maybe me. I don't care. I just wear whatever the org the stuff the org gives me. That's my uh, yeah. For the players, maybe Fielder, maybe Fielder. I don't see him dressed up for anything ever. Maybe yeah, he doesn't give a fuck. So maybe Fielder.
Then what about the player who is like the most skilled? Like the one you see in scrims and you're just like, how did they do that?
Most skilled within our team. Hmm. I mean, everybody has like a different aspect on what they're like what they're really good at, but then in like for like a general what people see, it would be proper there. Yeah.
Yeah. And then what if I asked you the most intelligent person on the team?
Intelligent person, okay.
Not
So
necessarily in game, maybe outside they know a lot or
outside
they're
the game.
like
Okay, then I would go with proper. It's also because it was like a surprising part for me. So maybe there are other people who are just smarter. So like in game wise, like there's a lot of smart people like Fyodor or Hanbin or whatever. They're all smart, but for me, the surprising part about proper for me was I thought he was just like a mechanically god guy, but it was actually very smart too. I think even if he were to have studied, I think he would have been good at study. It's just a smart person. Like he memorized stuff really really well and all that stuff.
and then if I go the opposite again, least intelligent, who's like you see them doing something and you're like, they don't know what they're doing. How do they get through life?
uh, let's see. The let's see. Maybe the person who lacks the most life skill, maybe Chio.
Chio?
The yeah, maybe he lacks the most life skill or like everyday knowledge kind of stuff. Yeah, we always ask him to do stuff, and then it's like also always late or forgets to do it and whatever. Yeah,
Needs looking after.
yeah.
And then what about biggest grinder? Who's always playing or always looking at VOD?
Oh, biggest grinder. I'll say Majed actually grinds a lot too. Majed grinds a lot. Our tanks have grinded a lot. Um, yeah, I would say probably those people who grinded the game the most.
And then second to last one, who's the funniest person on the team?
The funniest guy.
Who makes everyone
Fu-
laugh?
The funniest guy. Maybe Fielder. I think everybody's really comfortable with Fielder, so they start the joke and talk very comfortably with Fielder. So I would say I'll go with Fielder.
And then last one, who's the biggest complainer? Who's always
Complainer,
who's always
the
moaning?
whiner of the team.
Yeah.
Let's see who people have whined about different stuff like so let's say like the practice facility wise the the boot camp we had in Korea, for example, like Hanbin was like, "Oh, I can't play here," like all that stuff. So maybe I'll go with Hanbin because he whined about the facility.
All right, great. Thank you very much, Junkbuck. Wish you and the team the best, obviously, for Dallas, and we'll see you on the weekend. Thank you very much for taking the time.
All right. Thank you for having me.